The day the sky turned silver was a day humanity would never forget. It was a quiet Tuesday morning when the first reports came in. Shimmering objects, too big and too strange to be planes, appeared in the skies above major cities worldwide. In New York, office workers pressed their faces against windows, squinting at the bright shapes hovering over Central Park. In Tokyo, traffic ground to a halt as drivers stepped out of their cars, necks craned upwards. Over the pyramids of Giza, tour guides fell silent, their stories of ancient pharaohs forgotten as new history unfolded before their eyes. As hours passed, more ships arrived. They came in all shapes and sizes, from sleek silver needles to massive cubes that blotted out the sun. By nightfall, the Earth's orbit was filled with an armada unlike anything humans had ever seen or imagined. World leaders huddled in emergency meetings. Military commanders stared at radar screens, helpless against an enemy they couldn't begin to understand. And in living rooms across the planet, families huddled around televisions, waiting for news, for explanations, for hope. It came in the form of a global broadcast. Every screen on Earth flickered to life, showing the same image: a humanoid figure with pale blue skin and large almond-shaped eyes. People of Earth, the alien said, its voice oddly melodious despite the grave situation. We are the Galactic Empire, rulers of 1,000 worlds across the cosmos. We have come to offer you a place among the stars. The message was short, but its impact was enormous. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, but now that it had arrived, no one quite knew how to react. In the days that followed, the world seemed to hold its breath. The alien ships remained in orbit, a constant reminder of humanity's new reality. On the ground, chaos and wonder battled for supremacy. Some saw the aliens as saviors, a chance for humanity to leap forward into a bright future. Others feared enslavement or worse. Cults sprang up overnight, worshipping the sky gods. Doomsday preppers emerged from their bunkers, smug in their preparedness. But as the initial shock wore off, humanity began to do what it did best: adapt. Governments worldwide declared states of emergency, but also began preparations for potential diplomatic meetings. The United Nations, once mocked as ineffective, suddenly became the most important organization on the planet. Scientists worked around the clock, analyzing every scrap of data they could gather about the alien ships. Linguists pored over recordings of the alien message, trying to decipher hidden meanings in their strange language. And in secret facilities around the world, military leaders dusted off long-ignored plans for extraterrestrial contact. They hoped for peace but prepared for war, knowing that humanity's future hung in the balance. A week after their arrival, the Galactic Empire made their next move. A smaller ship, still impressive by Earth standards, descended from the fleet. It landed on the grounds of the United Nations headquarters in New York, its smooth surface gleaming in the morning sun. From it emerged a delegation of aliens, each different from the last. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 4 or 6. Some floated above the ground, while others slithered like snakes. But all moved with a sense of purpose and power that made it clear: these were the rulers of the stars. As they approached the hastily assembled group of Earth's leaders, cameras from every nation captured the moment. The alien at the front, taller than the rest, and wearing a shimmering cape, stepped forward. "Greetings," it said, its voice somehow heard by everyone present without the need for microphones. "We are pleased to meet you in person. We have much to discuss about your world's future in our empire." The UN Secretary General, a normally composed woman, visibly gulped before responding. "Welcome to Earth," she said, her voice shaky but determined. "We have many questions for you as well." As the 2 groups retreated inside for talks, the world watched and waited. In homes and offices, in farms and factories, humanity held its collective breath. The next few hours would determine the fate of their species, their planet, their very existence. Little did they know, this was just the beginning. The Galactic Empire had come with grand plans for Earth, But humanity was about to prove that it wouldn't simply roll over and accept a new cosmic order. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo across the stars. The meeting between Earth's leaders and the Galactic Empire's representatives lasted for hours. Inside the United Nations building, the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Outside, crowds gathered, their eyes fixed on the doors, waiting for news. As the sun began to set, the doors finally opened. The alien delegation emerged first, their faces unreadable. Earth's leaders followed, looking pale and shaken. Cameras flashed as reporters shouted questions, but no one spoke. It wasn't until the next morning that the world learned what had transpired. In a global broadcast, the UN Secretary-General addressed the planet. "People of Earth," she began, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Galactic Empire has made their intentions clear. They wish to incorporate our world into their dominion. They promise advanced technology, interstellar travel, and protection from cosmic threats." A murmur of excitement rippled through the crowds watching around the world. But the Secretary-General wasn't finished. "However," she continued, "the price is high. The Empire demands complete submission to their rule. Our governments would be dissolved, our militaries dismantled. Earth would become just another colony in their vast empire." The excitement turned to shock, then anger. In cities across the globe, people took to the streets. Some carried signs welcoming their new alien overlords, but many more protested against the loss of human independence. World leaders convened emergency sessions. Military commanders drew up defense plans, and in secret labs and bunkers around the world, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly on projects they hoped might give humanity an edge. The Galactic Empire gave Earth 1 week to decide. As the deadline approached, tensions rose. The alien ships remained in orbit, a constant reminder of the choice humanity faced. In Washington, D.C., the U.S. President addressed the nation. "We have always prided ourselves on our freedom," she said. "We will not surrender it now, not even to beings from the stars." Similar messages came from Beijing, Moscow, New Delhi, and capitals around the world. Humanity, it seemed, was united in its defiance. But not everyone agreed with this stance. Pro-empire groups sprang up, arguing that resistance was futile and that humanity should embrace its cosmic destiny. Clashes broke out in city streets between these groups and those demanding resistance. As the deadline neared, strange things began to happen. Military bases reported equipment failures. Power grids flickered. Internet connections became unstable. Many suspected imperial sabotage, a taste of what might come if Earth resisted. But humanity had a few tricks up its sleeve. In a hidden facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, a team of international scientists made a breakthrough. They managed to intercept and decrypt some of the Empire's communications. "They're not as united as they want us to think," Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the team leader, reported to a group of world leaders. "There are factions within the Empire. Some disagree with the plan to subjugate Earth." This information spread quickly among Earth's decision-makers. It gave them hope, a potential weakness to exploit. Meanwhile, in orbit, astronauts on the International Space Station made a daring move. Using hastily upgraded equipment, they managed to scan one of the smaller Imperial ships. The data they sent back was groundbreaking. "Their tech is advanced," Mission Commander Wei Chen reported, "but not incomprehensible. We can understand it, and if we can understand it, we can fight it." These small victories bolstered Earth's resolve. As the deadline arrived, humanity's answer was clear. In a historic session of the United Nations, representatives from every nation on Earth voted unanimously. The Secretary-General once again addressed the Empire and the world. Her voice rang out, clear and defiant. "To the Galactic Empire, we say this: Earth is not for sale. We reject your offer. We will not surrender our freedom, our dignity, or our home. If you want Earth, you'll have to fight for it." As she spoke, something unprecedented happened. Military bases around the world powered up new, secretly developed weapons. Satellites reoriented, revealing hidden capabilities. And in orbit, the International Space Station shimmered and changed, a cloaking device failing to reveal a structure far larger and more formidable than anyone had suspected. Humanity had been preparing. The Galactic Empire had underestimated the creatures of this small blue planet. Now they were about to learn just how fierce humans could be when fighting for their home. The stage was set. The Galactic Empire's response was coming, and Earth braced itself for a war unlike any it had ever faced. The future of humanity would be decided in the stars. The Galactic Empire's response to Earth's defiance was swift and terrible. Within hours of humanity's rejection, the massive alien ships in orbit began to move. They spread out, covering the globe in a web of gleaming metal. Then, without warning, they attacked. Beams of energy lanced down from the sky, targeting military bases and major cities. The Empire clearly intended to crush Earth's ability to resist quickly and decisively. But humanity was ready. As the first beams struck, something unexpected happened. Instead of explosions and destruction, the energy seemed to dissipate harmlessly. In secret bunkers around the world, scientists cheered. Their hastily developed energy absorption technology, reverse-engineered from the Empire's own systems, was working. General Sarah Chen, head of Earth's Unified Defense Force, allowed herself a small smile. "Let's show them what we can do," she said. At her command, Earth's hidden defenses sprang to life. Anti-gravity platforms rose from camouflaged bases, carrying advanced weapon systems. Swarms of nanodrones filled the sky, forming protective shields around key locations. The Empire's ships, caught off guard by Earth's unexpected resistance, paused their attack. In that moment of hesitation, humanity struck back. Concentrated beams of energy shot upward from ground-based cannons, striking the Imperial ships. The alien shields flickered but held. However, the message was clear. Earth could bite back. In orbit, the true scale of humanity's preparations became apparent. The International Space Station, now revealed as a massive battle platform, began to move. It fired salvos of missiles that seemed to phase in and out of reality, confusing the Empire's targeting systems. But the Empire was far from defeated. They launched waves of fighter craft, sleek vessels that darted through Earth's atmosphere with impossible speed. Earth's own aircraft rose to meet them. What the human pilots lacked in advanced technology, they made up for in skill and determination. The skies filled with dogfights, streaks of light crisscrossing as human and alien craft clashed. On the ground, another battle was taking place, one that couldn't be seen but was just as crucial. In hidden server farms and on quantum computers, human hackers launched an all-out cyber assault on the Empire's systems. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, lead of the Cyber Warfare Division, hadn't slept in days. Her fingers flew over her keyboard as she coordinated the global effort. "Their systems are complex," she muttered, "but not unbreakable." Slowly but surely, the human hackers made progress. Imperial communications began to falter. Some of their ships started to drift, their navigation systems compromised. The Empire, realizing the threat, struck back digitally. Advanced AI systems probed Earth's defenses, looking for weaknesses. For a while, it seemed like they might overwhelm humanity's digital barricades. But then, in a server room in Bangalore, a young programmer named Raj Patel had a breakthrough. He found a backdoor in the Empire's code, a flaw so small it had been overlooked. With trembling hands, he activated his program. Across the globe, Imperial systems began to fail. Ships lost power, weapons went offline, and communication channels filled with gibberish. The mighty Galactic Empire, which had conquered 1,000 worlds, found itself paralyzed by the ingenuity of a species they had grossly underestimated. In the skies, human fighters pressed their advantage. On the ground, people cheered as they watched Imperial ships fall from the sky, disabled by Earth's combined technological assault. But victory was far from assured. The Empire still had vast resources at its disposal, and humanity had only won the first round of what promised to be a long and difficult war. As the initial battle subsided, General Chen addressed the unified Earth Defense Force. "We've bloodied their nose," she said, her face grim but determined. "But this fight is far from over. The Empire will be back, and they'll be angry. We need to prepare for their return." Around the world, humans began to salvage alien technology from the fallen ships. Scientists pored over the advanced systems, looking for any advantage they could find. Engineers worked to incorporate the new tech into Earth's defenses. In orbit, the damaged Imperial fleet regrouped. Their initial attack had failed, but they were far from defeated. As they prepared for their next move, one thing was clear: the war for Earth had only just begun. Humanity had stood strong against the first onslaught. They had proven that despite the Empire's advanced technology, the human spirit of innovation and determination was a force to be reckoned with. But greater challenges lay ahead, and the fate of the planet still hung in the balance. As the dust settled from Earth's first major battle against the Galactic Empire, humanity knew it couldn't win this war alone. Despite their initial success, they were still vastly outnumbered and outgunned. It was time for a different approach. In a secure underground facility, world leaders gathered to discuss their next move. The UN Secretary-General, her face tired but determined, addressed the group. "We've shown we can fight," she said. "Now we need to show we can talk." And so, Operation Cosmic Olive Branch was born. Using the communication technology salvaged from downed Imperial ships, Earth sent out a message to the stars. It wasn't aimed at the Empire, but at the countless other civilizations that must exist in the galaxy. The message was simple: "We are Earth. We stand against tyranny. Who will stand with us?" For weeks, there was no response. Humanity held its breath, fighting off sporadic attacks from the regrouping Empire, all while hoping their call would be answered. Then, on a quiet Tuesday morning, it happened. A ship appeared in orbit, unlike any they'd seen before. It was organic in shape, more like a giant space whale than the metallic constructs of the Empire. "I am Ambassador Zixzax of the luminous Concordat," a melodious voice transmitted to every device on Earth. "We have long opposed the Empire's expansion. We offer our aid to your world." Cheers erupted in streets around the globe. Humanity had found its first ally. But they weren't the last. Over the following days, more ships arrived. The crystalline vessels of the Silicon Collective, the energy beings of the Quantum Nexus, riding in ships of pure light. Even some defectors from the Empire itself, members of subjugated races seeking freedom. Earth quickly became a hub of intergalactic diplomacy. In a hastily constructed spaceport in the Sahara Desert, representatives from a dozen alien races gathered to form a coalition. Dr. Amelia Frost, Earth's leading xenoanthropologist, found herself in the role of chief diplomat. "Each race brings unique strengths," she explained to the UN Council. "The luminous Concordat has powerful healing technology. The Silicon Collective are masters of AI and computational warfare. The Quantum Nexus can manipulate space-time itself." But bringing together such diverse beings wasn't easy. Cultural misunderstandings abounded. The Silicon Collective were offended by the human habit of blinking. The Quantum Nexus existed in multiple timelines simultaneously, making scheduling meetings a nightmare. Yet, slowly but surely, a united front formed. Earth's determination had inspired these races. Many had suffered under the Empire's rule and saw this as their chance for freedom. Meanwhile, human diplomats took to the stars. Brave men and women ventured out in ships provided by their new allies, seeking more support for their cause. Captain Miguel Ortiz found himself on the forest world of Arborea, negotiating with sentient trees. Commander Yuki Tanaka drifted in the gas clouds of Nebulos, communing with microscopic hive minds. Each successful mission brought new allies, new technologies, new hope. But the Empire wasn't idle. They saw the growing coalition as a major threat. Imperial spies attempted to sow discord among the Allies. Assassins targeted key diplomats. Disinformation campaigns tried to turn alien races against Earth. It was a young intern named Charlie Wong who saved the coalition from disaster. During a tense meeting between Earth and the Silicon Collective, Charlie noticed one of the alien diplomats behaving oddly. Thanks to their quick thinking, the diplomat was revealed to be an Imperial shapeshifter intent on sabotaging the Alliance. The incident, rather than driving a wedge between the Allies, brought them closer together. It highlighted the real threat they all faced. In a historic moment, broadcast across Earth and to friendly worlds throughout the galaxy, the Alliance of Free Worlds was officially formed. Representatives from 24 species stood together, united against the Empire's tyranny. The UN Secretary-General, speaking for humanity, addressed the assembled aliens and the watching galaxy. Today, we stand not as humans, not as individual species, but as free beings united in our desire for liberty. The Empire sought to divide us, to conquer us one by one. Instead, they have united us as never before. As she spoke, reports came in of more worlds joining their cause. The Empire's iron grip was beginning to weaken as system after system declared for the Alliance. A new hope blossomed across the galaxy. The war was far from over, but no longer was it just humanity against the Empire. Now it was freedom against tyranny, diversity against uniformity, hope against fear. And at the heart of it all was Earth, the little blue planet that dared to say no to an empire of 1,000 worlds. The planet that had turned resistance into revolution. The next battle was coming, but this time, humanity would not stand alone. The day of reckoning had arrived. The Galactic Empire, enraged by the growing rebellion and the loss of its subjugated worlds, gathered its full might for one final assault on Earth. The planet that had dared to resist, that had sparked a galaxy-wide revolution, would face the Empire's wrath. As the sun rose over Earth's cities, the sky darkened with Imperial ships. They came in uncountable numbers, blotting out the stars. The Empire had committed everything to this attack, determined to crush the heart of the rebellion once and for all. But Earth was ready, and it was not alone. Around the planet, the ships of the Alliance of Free Worlds took up defensive positions. The organic vessels of the luminous Concordat, the crystalline structures of the Silicon Collective, the light ships of the Quantum Nexus, and dozens of other alien crafts stood alongside Earth's own advanced fleet. On the ground, in secret bunkers and command centers, the leaders of Earth and their alien allies prepared for battle. General Sarah Chen, now the supreme commander of the Alliance forces, addressed her troops. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for every free world in the galaxy. The Empire thought to break us. Instead, they have united us. Now we show them the power of freedom. As she spoke, the Empire launched its attack. Energy beams lanced down from their ships, met by the combined shield technology of 12 worlds. The skies lit up with explosions as the space battle began in earnest. Imperial dropships descended, carrying legions of troops. They were met by the combined ground forces of Earth and its allies. In the streets of New York, human soldiers fought alongside the tree-like Arborians. In the skies over Tokyo, Earth fighters flew in formation with the gas cloud beings of Nebulos. The battle raged across every continent, in the skies, and in space. The Empire's numbers were overwhelming, but the Alliance fought with the desperation of those defending their freedom. In orbit, Captain Leilon Kosi of the Earth ship Defiant found herself in the thick of the fight. Her ship danced between Imperial cruisers, its weapons blazing. "Remember our training," she called to her crew. "Use the Quantum Nexus phasing technology. Hit them where they least expect it." The Defiant blinked in and out of normal space, appearing inside the Empire's formation and wreaking havoc before disappearing again. Other Alliance ships adopted similar tactics, turning the Empire's superior numbers against them in the confined space around Earth. On the ground, the Silicon Collective's AI systems proved invaluable. They predicted Imperial strategies faster than any organic mind could, allowing the Alliance to stay one step ahead. In Washington, D.C., a group of human and Silicon collective defenders managed to turn back an Imperial assault on the White House, using this predictive power to set up the perfect ambush. But the Empire still had tricks up its sleeve. They deployed a massive ship, larger than any seen before. It began to power up a weapon that could potentially crack the planet in half. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, monitoring the battle from a bunker in Mount Fuji, spotted the threat. "We need to take out that supership," she radioed to General Chen. "If that weapon fires, it's all over." Chen nodded grimly. "We need a small team to infiltrate the ship," she said. "It's our only chance." A volunteer team was quickly assembled. Humans, a luminous Concordat healer, a Silicon Collective AI expert, and a quantum nexus timeshifter. They boarded a stealth ship, using technology from all their races to slip past the Empire's defenses. Led by Major Thomas Rivera, the team fought their way through the Imperial supership. The battles were intense, with each member using their unique abilities to overcome the challenges. The Concordat healer kept them alive, the Silicon AI expert hacked security systems, and the Quantum Nexus member helped them navigate the ship's maze-like interior by glimpsing possible futures. Finally, they reached the core. As Imperial troops closed in, Rivera and his team worked frantically to overload the ship's systems. "It's done," he shouted as alarms blared around them. "Everyone out. Now." They barely escaped as the supership began to implode. The massive vessel collapsed in on itself, taking a significant portion of the Imperial fleet with it. The loss of their superweapon and a large part of their fleet threw the Imperial forces into disarray. The Alliance pressed their advantage, pushing the Empire back on all fronts. As the battle reached its climax, it was clear that the tide had turned. The Empire, once thought invincible, was being defeated by the very worlds it had sought to dominate. The war wasn't over, but as the Imperial ships began to retreat from Earth's orbit, a feeling of hope spread through the Allied forces. They had faced the Empire's mightiest attack and survived. More than survived, they had won. Earth, the little planet that defied an empire, had become the cornerstone of a free galaxy. The final push to victory was at hand. The retreat of the Imperial fleet from Earth's orbit marked the beginning of the end for the Galactic Empire. As news of the Empire's defeat spread across the galaxy, more worlds rose up in rebellion. The once mighty Empire began to crumble from within. On Earth, celebrations erupted in every city. Humans danced in the streets alongside their alien allies. The sky, so recently filled with the terrors of war, now blazed with fireworks and the lights of friendly ships. But for the leaders of the Alliance, there was no time to rest. They knew that to secure lasting peace, they had to press their advantage. The Empire was wounded, but not yet defeated. General Sarah Chen addressed the Allied Council. "We've won the battle for Earth," she said, her voice firm. "Now we must win the war for the galaxy." The Council agreed. It was time to take the fight to the Empire's home territory. Over the next few weeks, the Alliance fleet, led by ships from Earth, launched a series of strikes against key Imperial strongholds. Each victory brought more systems into the Alliance fold. Former Imperial subjects, inspired by Earth's example, threw off their shackles and joined the fight for freedom. Dr. Amelia Frost found herself on the front lines of a different kind of battle. As the Alliance's chief diplomat, she worked tirelessly to bring peace to worlds torn by centuries of Imperial rule. On the planet Nexus Prime, she brokered a truce between three species that had been set against each other by Imperial propaganda. The Empire's greatest weapon was fear, she told them. They made you fear each other so you wouldn't unite against them. But look at Earth. Look at the Alliance. We're stronger together. Her words, broadcast across the sector, inspired millions. More and more worlds pledged themselves to the Alliance's cause. Meanwhile, Captain Miguel Ortiz led a daring mission deep into Imperial space. His target, the Empire's central data hub, With a team of elite hackers from Earth and the Silicon Collective, he infiltrated the facility. "Download everything," he ordered as his team fought off Imperial cyberattacks. "Every secret, every lie, every crime they've committed. The galaxy needs to know the truth." The data they retrieved was damning. Evidence of Imperial atrocities, of entire species enslaved or wiped out, of wealth stolen from 1,000 worlds. As the Alliance broadcast this information across the galaxy, the last vestiges of Imperial support crumbled. But the final blow came from an unexpected source. On the Imperial throne world of Astoria Prime, the Emperor's own guard turned against him. Led by Commander Zarkax, a longtime secret supporter of the rebellion, they stormed the Imperial palace. The Emperor, his power broken, his armies defeated, had nowhere left to run. In a moment broadcast live across the galaxy, Commander Zarkax placed the Imperial crown at the feet of the Alliance representatives. "The Empire is no more," Zarkax declared. "Let a new era of freedom begin." Back on Earth, people gathered in homes, in bars, in town squares to watch this historic moment. Cheers erupted as the Imperial flag was lowered for the last time. In New York, at the headquarters of the newly formed Galactic Alliance, Earth's leaders gathered with representatives from hundreds of worlds. The UN Secretary-General, her face showing the wear of the long conflict, but her eyes bright with hope, addressed the assembly. "Today marks the end of the Galactic Empire," she said. "But more importantly, it marks the beginning of a new age. An age of freedom, of cooperation between all sentient beings. Earth did not win this war alone. We won it together, as an alliance, as a galaxy united." She paused, looking out over the diverse crowd. Humans stood shoulder to shoulder, or tentacle or branch, with beings from across the cosmos, all united in their desire for peace and freedom. "The road ahead will not be easy," she continued. "We have a galaxy to rebuild, wounds to heal, trust to establish. But I have faith. Faith in the strength I've seen in every world that stood against tyranny. Faith in the bonds we forged in the heat of battle. Faith in the fundamental desire for freedom that unites all sentient beings." As she spoke, ships from 100 worlds performed a flyover, their contrails painting the sky in a rainbow of colors. It was a symbol of the new galactic order, diverse, colorful, but united. "The Empire sought to rule through fear and division," the Secretary-General said, her voice rising. "We will lead through hope and unity. Let this be the legacy of Earth, of the Alliance, of every being who fought for freedom. Today, we begin to write a new history. A history of a free galaxy." The applause that followed seemed to shake the very stars. As night fell on Earth, citizens looked up at the sky with new eyes. The stars were no longer distant, unreachable points of light. They were neighbors, allies, friends. Earth had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. More than that, it had changed the course of galactic history. The little blue planet that dared to defy an empire had become the birthplace of a free galaxy. The war was over. The real work of peace was about to begin. 5 years had passed since the fall of the Galactic Empire. The galaxy, once gripped by tyranny, was transforming under the guidance of the new Galactic Alliance. At the heart of this change was Earth, the planet that had sparked a revolution. On a bright morning in Geneva, the newly constructed Galactic Alliance headquarters gleamed in the sunlight. Its architecture blended styles from 100 worlds, a physical representation of the diversity it championed. Inside, the Galactic Council was in session. Representatives from thousands of worlds sat in a vast chamber, their forms as varied as the planets they came from. At the center of it all stood Angela Chen, Earth's representative and the current president of the Alliance. 5 years ago, Chen began, her voice carried to every corner of the galaxy through advanced communication tech. "We fought for our freedom. Today, we work to build a future worthy of that fight." The challenges had been immense. Worlds ravaged by imperial rule needed rebuilding. Former enemies had to learn to coexist. The power vacuum left by the Empire's fall had led to pockets of chaos that needed to be addressed. But the Alliance had risen to these challenges. Earth's experience in overcoming divisions proved invaluable. Humans worked alongside alien races on countless projects across the stars. In the Andromeda sector, Dr. Yuki Tanaka led a team developing new terraforming technologies. Their work promised to make countless worlds habitable, solving overpopulation issues that had plagued many species. "We're not just reshaping planets," Tanaka told a group of eager students from a dozen different worlds. "We're reshaping the future of countless civilizations." Meanwhile, on the former imperial capital of Astoria Prime, Major Thomas Rivera oversaw the galaxy's most ambitious peacekeeping initiative. The Imperial Palace, once a symbol of oppression, had been transformed into a universal academy. Here, beings from across the cosmos trained together, learning to protect the peace their predecessors had fought so hard to win. "The Empire built weapons," Rivera said during the Academy's opening ceremony. "We build understanding. That's the real key to lasting peace." But it wasn't just in grand projects that the new galactic order showed its strength. On countless worlds, daily life had been transformed. On Zexalor Prime, a world once stripped of resources by the Empire, human agricultural experts worked with local fungoid beings to restore the planet's ecosystem. In the markets of New Trinity Station, the largest spaceport in the Orion Arm, humans haggled good-naturedly with silicon-based life forms and energy beings over goods from 1,000 worlds. Earth itself had been transformed. The skies of every major city were filled with ships from across the galaxy. Alien exchange students crowded university campuses, eager to learn about the world that had changed the course of galactic history. In a small classroom in Nairobi, a young human teacher named Amina Okafor introduced a group of alien children to Earth's history. "Our world was once divided," she explained, gesturing to an old map. "We fought amongst ourselves over resources, ideology, and land. But we learned to come together. That's why, when the Empire came, we were ready to stand united. And that's why we were able to help the galaxy unite too." As she spoke, a shy Arcturian child raised a tentacle. "Teacher," it burbled, "is it true that humans once thought they were alone in the universe?" Amina smiled. "We did," she said, "but we always hoped we weren't. We looked up at the stars and dreamed of the day we'd reach them. And when we finally did," she gestured around the classroom, at the diverse group of students, "well, you're all proof of how wonderful that turned out to be." Back in Geneva, President Chen was concluding her address to the Galactic Council. "We've achieved much in these 5 years," she said. "We've brought peace to war-torn worlds. We've shared technology and knowledge that has improved billions of lives. We've begun to heal the scars left by centuries of imperial rule." She paused, looking out over the assembled representatives. "But our work is far from over. There are still worlds suffering from the Empire's legacy. There are still those who would seek to divide us, and there are still wonders waiting to be discovered in the far reaches of our galaxy." Chen's voice rose, filled with passion and hope. 5 years ago, Earth stood against an empire. We didn't stand alone then, and we don't stand alone now. Together, we are building a galaxy of freedom, of opportunity, of unity and diversity. The stars are no longer distant lights. They're our homes, our neighbors, our shared future. As Chen finished her speech, the chamber erupted in applause. On countless worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes watched and listened, united in hope for the future. Earth, once a small blue planet on the edge of an insignificant galaxy, had become the heart of a thriving galactic community. The little world that dared to defy an empire had changed the course of cosmic history. And its story, the story of humanity's stand, and the birth of a free galaxy, would be told around alien campfires and in starship nurseries for millennia to come.